Alright guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Boss Kimbrell, backyard mechanic, just a grease monkey. I've been playing on hot rods all my life. This is a 496 that was in my 95 C1500, known as Little White. Been together close to 2 years. Never put any nitrous, any power adders on it, beat on it pretty substantially. But I bought the heads used and put them on there, and that was literally the only part of this engine that wasn't brand new. And like an idiot, I didn't, pay the $125 just sent, have them checked, make sure everything was good, knowing they'd been sitting in a garage for 12, 15 years. So needless to say, after 2 years, that finally bit me. Doing a burnout, eventually shattered a spring above number 7 cylinder, and valve hit piston, piston hit valve, went chomp chomp 4 or 5 times and blew it out of the exhaust. So basically that's the only reason I've had to go back through this engine, period. Which, could have been a lot worse, could have been catastrophic, could have, hurt a lot worse. Mains, rods, all the bearings in the bottom end looked absolutely perfect. Had not even ran so much as through the dull coating in the bearing yet. So went back through everything, just made sure everything was good. Repaired what we had to repair, cleaned up the cylinder wall. Got lucky enough it honed out. I did replace the cam. I actually bought a specific turbo nitrous cam and put in here this time. And I did a few other things just to prepare it for nitrous. Went ahead and studded the mains. Bought some foul fit rings and went ahead and replaced them. Obviously Molly foul fits, and filed them to 28 and 30 thousandths for a 4.310 bore. All that's done. When I finish out the top end here, we're going to run stud girdles, whole 9 yards, because we plan on starting at about 300 horsepower. But I've been swearing I was going to video this whole time, video some of the work I was doing, because I know people are interested in this, and kind of like my wife said, she's like, you sit and watch that all the time, so why not? So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, I am not even remotely close to being comfortable in front of a camera at all. I don't guess I've ever spoken to a camera, especially with nobody else around. It's a little strange. Probably takes a little getting used to, I would bet. But just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what was going on and what we're doing. I'm finally trying to get this thing put back together. I will, definitely not a computer person at all. I've got like some rinky-dink little editing software, and through my phone I'll use. That's all this is, just a cell phone video. So I'll try to edit out the complete garbage. Maybe I don't look too bad, and maybe hopefully you guys understand me. I know I'm a little country boy from down in Alabama, but so I just figured I would get a little video of me attempting to finally get this thing back together, because it's kind of been a headache. And just to kind of run you back through this right quick, this was a 454 block, and now has a 4.25 scat 4130, whatever it is, 4130, 4140 crank, 4.25 stroke. Does have a 4.310 bore, making it a 496 cubic inch big block. Has a set of the original Edelbrock 6055, so you can't even buy these anymore. Anything now would be a 6055 with a 9 or a 6055 with a 4, what have you. These have had a good bit of work done, as I'm sure you can tell even from there. Had a good bit of port and polish work. They've been port and matched to the intake and all that good stuff. And I mean, they have some nice parts. I have they were originally for a hydraulic roller. I have upsized the springs this time as well, and going to a full solid top end setup. Thus far, everything in the top end will be brand, other than the heads themselves, but they've been completely gone through, new seals, springs, the whole 9 yards. All the valves are good. Replaced the one valve that broke, obviously. So everything in the top end will be new this time, other than possibly the rocker arms. And I know a lot of people, probably look at me crazy as soon as I say that. Invest this much money in something, which it's really not that bad, not for the power this thing's making and the money I can the money I've spent to make this kind of power. But poor man, I'm on a budget. So we'll look at my rocker arms, you know, and hopefully they'll be okay. I mean, I'll look, if I have to, we'll scrounge the funds to get another nice set of rocker arms, but that'll be pretty much the last of what I need to get this thing together. I've been kind of fighting gaskets to make sure we were 100% correct. This is the first time I've used Cometic MLS gaskets, and this is actually the first big block I've ever built. I've always been a small block guy. Was going to go the LS route and just kind of came across this disassembled short block and decided to buy it, and you know, I don't regret it. So I'm just going to continue working on this thing. Like I said, I'll edit out any complete hot garbage later, hopefully. Okay. Brand new bottle of cylinder, huh? Yep, that would be the reasoning why. I'm at technically 12. One of my friends owns this shop, and my other friend runs this shop. Now, people that know me personally, they're going to know exactly where I am. I won't name it just for the sake of we are on the internet, and they might not want to be thrown on the internet. But they are two friends of mine that I've known since I was a teenager, and always been pretty good to me when it comes to working on my stuff, which, you know, I try to help them out as much as I can too. So regardless, they've been good to me, and that's where I'm at working on. And I probably get way too tedious on a lot of this stuff. I'm a very OCD person, and I probably go overboard with a lot of things or pay too much attention to some things. And I'm sure there's some things some people will point out that I probably don't do right, because I am by no means, I'm not a Pat Music. I'm a Boss Kimbrel, and that's not much of anything, just a old country boy, nobody from the woods in central Alabama. I want to play with hot rods. And for anybody who didn't know, which I'm not quite used to this either, big block Chevrolet head bolts go straight into water jackets. So yes, you have to run, instead of putting your normal assembly lube or whatever else you like to use, you do have to run straight up thread sealant, you know, aka pipe dope, to keep water from leaking up the threads and into your cylinders. Doing it as we go. Hopefully we won't miss any. And these heads are tricky because they literally have 1, 2, 3, 4 different length bolts, so you have to keep up with every one of those individually. Some are obvious, some are not. Some are only like a 1/4 inch difference. And apparently it's for these heads only, because when I ordered bolts, head bolts, even though I told them I had Edelbrock heads, I had to order them 3 different times before I finally got actual bolts that match these heads. Of course, good old Summit Racing, they work well with me, good customer service, so I do tend to use them the most. I do use jegs as well as any other the big ones, Holly, who have you, even directly from Edelbrock. But Summit seems to have the best customer service, so you know I stick to who's good to me. Alright, see if we can't, sorry about that, see if we can't get this set up here. I may edit that out, I may not. Doesn't really matter that much. I might turn that thing up a little bit so you guys can see. I mean, this is not a engine building tutorial, so I'm assuming most people watching are either built one or two, or even semi know what they're doing, or at least just interested enough to watch some other idiot build theirs. But I mean, I will mention a few common sense things that I think at least most people know. Torque these things down. We're going to go in a pattern. There are specific patterns. I mean, you can pull it up and it'll tell you specifically what bolt number where, but pretty much as long as you go from the center towards the outside in increments all the way across, you're good. I plan to torque these. Now these have pretty much all the same long bolts relatively, or within a quarter of an inch. So I'm going to torque all those to 75 foot-pounds, and then the 4 short bolts on the bottom, these Edelbrock heads, I'm going to torque to 70 pounds. Guess I could turn this thing so hopefully you guys can see a little better. Like I said, nothing really special. See if I can center that camera without knocking it over. I actually have a camera stand that I borrowed from a buddy of mine, and I kind of keep failing to break it out, so maybe that gives you guys a little better view. Yeah, I'm getting old. You hear me grunting a lot when I'm bending over. Let's see now. I lost the socket, so just using this obviously. Barely snuggling up the first time. Oh, and the bad thing is my torque wrench is laying right on the back of it's actually what the camera's propped on, so I'll have to move you guys again in just a second. Get a little extension. Obviously, again, I'm just snugging them down pretty much. That's about it. Make sure everything feels good. No threads feel bad or anything like that. Nice and smooth to the bottom. Alright. And like I said, I'm just going to eyeball and go out, center, center, center. Nice and smooth. Alright, next closest to center. Very strong, but just enough to get them pushed down pretty easily. All right, make sure I didn't miss any. Every one of them. Let me do a run through, just make sure they're buttoned down so I'm not ratcheting on a torque wrench. snug down. Of course, watch me struggle to find a 1/2 inch 12 point now for the 1/2 inch drive. Let's see here. We got a short one, but I would rather not add an extension. Be right back. Do have 13 12 point, which I normally would not advise, but it is. I don't like it. Perhaps y'all use short adapter or extension, and use a 3/8 screw. I'm not sure. Bad thing is, I bet it's got it in here somewhere. Somebody has probably used it today. Since I don't work here, I don't really ever really know exactly who's used what and when. One more second. I'll probably edit all this out. It would be nice to have the 1/2 inch 12 point socket. Very nice. Do have a short 1/2 inch. I can make work with a fairly short strip, and I'm okay with that. Not ideal. I would still rather have a deep weld, but I don't know if I can get away with that one or not. We shall see. Some of these are awfully close. A little sideways against that spring. I think that'll be fine. Now I gotta move you guys. Let's see how this is gonna work. Maybe I can move this thing relatively smoothly and get you guys where you can still see. Now, I have no idea how this volume stuff's gonna work. I know a lot of people, once they've done this a while, they get earpieces, things like that. I do have some earbuds that you can speak into. We may try those if this turns out horribly. If it did, I'm sorry. You'll still get the general gist and idea of what I'm doing. And actually, here is my, you'll notice one spring missing because I want to go through, once I get them on, that's just the easiest way. Once I get everything assembled here, I'm going to go ahead and put in all my new seals. Machinist actually put all the springs on already. I didn't have the seals yet. He just popped them on there cheap enough, just whatever. So now I will do them one at a time, but it's just easier once we get it with the spring compressor we got. It's easier once we get it together, and we can just do it on the head with air pressure in the cylinder and pop each seal on the valve. So get my other junk out of the way and get out this fancy schmancy torque wrench. Alright, so common sense, well, I mean, at least for most people, or people that have built engines before, may not be common sense for everybody, but we'll do this in increments. As soon as I find that socket, how about that one in my pocket? We'll use that one until we find another one. But so we'll do this in increments, basically ending at 75 foot-pounds. So we'll probably do 45, 60, and 75, somewhere in there. Sounds pretty good to me. So this is still set from where I set my mains, and since they are studded, they were set to 110 foot-pounds. So you gotta drop this dude down to 45 foot-pounds. Let's see if I can still do this. And again, I am very OCD. I may run over this thing 10 times, and I may edit that out, or y'all may get to watch me do it 10 times. Notice how these shorter ones are a lot closer to torque because they are so small. I think I got that one. I'm just trying to make sure these links are tricky. Yeah, got it. Alright, so move on that way. Odd feeling to move all the way down here, but that is the next one in line. Oh, okay. I got that one already, dummy. Probably done that one. Maybe, nope. Not yet. Telling you, no matter how much you think you're paying attention, you get the same bolts 4 times with this setup. It's just very different. Especially when you're used to small blocks and all the head bolts being inside the valve cover. You have to remember all these outside, short and long. always feel like I'm missing one, and then I go back and check it, and I'm not. Like new mounts there. I'm gonna try to got a very nose heavy truck, 4,360 pounds. 2,600 of that is on the front tires with only 1,760 on the rear, which it still managed to hook pretty well. That track actually totes the wheels a little bit on the motor, but we need all the help we can. So bought these so that we can slide those all the way forward and get the engine back as far as we can. Now, I'm not going to change anything with the fiber. This is a 100% factory truck, even down to the air conditioning. But I am going to move it back as close as I can to the firewall. I know I've got at least 1 inch. Hoping to take as much of that 1.5 inches as we can. Really, the only things we're going to have to change on the truck to do that are the headers do come a little close to, and it's really not even the actual body, it's the factory heat shields, and I'm going to have to take some. I've already marked them when I pulled everything apart where the headers are, and I'm going to dent that just enough to, you know, give me a room to go back. But I feel like even 1 inch is going to make a lot of difference. Hopefully get 100 pounds of it towards the back. All right, so we did 45. We're going to 60, and then the next time is going to be even trickier because we're going to jump to 75 on all the long bolts, but then these are only going to go to 70. So I got to do that as I'm correlating through here, so hopefully my ADD doesn't kick in. All right. And yes, I realize I'm doing this very, very slowly. But again, I'm trying to be very, very accurate. Trick is to not take too long and then start getting yourself into a little bit of strain and vibration, because then that'll throw the torque wrench off. So you got to do it just fast enough to beep in time before you shake, but slow enough it's still accurate. Even though, yes, I know this is the 60-pound pull and we're going way above that, still, I'm just the way my brain works. I have to do things a very specific way and as accurately as I possibly can. Or at least that's my idea. I guess I'm more afraid of messing up than I should be, even though I've actually proven to myself pretty well so far that I do pretty good at this for an old shade tree mechanic. Alright, before I get lost here. Probably. That's when it always gets confusing. It's going to that one. So. I think I hit both of those. See, I swear it tricks my mind every single time. Got to make sure. Yep. And it's like I know I did, but my brain tells me check it again. Just did those two. Must have just done that one. I think that one's done, but I want to make sure first. Yep. be the last one on this end, I think. And this should be the last one on this end, I think. Just my own shits and giggles. I'm gonna go through this time. I'm gonna go just in across. They're all torqued to the same amount anyway, and just make sure they're all at 60 first before I go to pull into 70 or 75. Sure you guys are watching there, like uh-oh, here comes the man himself who does not want to be on camera for the first time I've ever filmed and talked to one looking like an idiot. Be nice if you answer my text message.
Oh, did you text?
Oh, I don't know, like 14 times. The man, the myth, the legend, by the way. She might make me edit this out, but whatever. Yeah, I was asking you where your thread segment was. I went and found it, or I found a new one and cut the tip off of it. And, you know. On what table? Like a bottle? Oh, I found a squeeze thing of it. And yes, I know I'm not torquing these right. I'm just double checking to make sure I caught them all that first time before I do my final round. In case you were about to critique me. Anyway, that's my best friend slash mentor slash father figure. Pretty much, man's taught me everything I know, to be honest with you. He's the most talented person I've ever met in my entire life when it comes to hands-on. He can do anything automotive. Builds motors, transmissions, rear ends, anything front to back. And his name is Mr. Johnny Shirley, in case you didn't catch that. Alright, as I'm sure you're sitting there looking at me like I needlessly double checked them, because your vantage point's probably better than mine. Probably thinking, man, it ain't that hard to keep up with. But we verified them. Now we're gonna go to 75 till we get here. We're gonna drop it to 70. I almost just want to do them to 75, but they say leave them 5 pounds lighter. So I think I'm gonna do what they say. Because they are definitely smarter than me, I assure you. And 75. Next two, gotta drop down to 70. Back up to 75. I would rather go this way. This may be done, I really don't remember. It is. Well, man. Yeah. Alright, back down to 70. So we can do these bottom two, which are the next in line. Alright, back up to 75 to finish out the ends. Alright, so we've got one, two, and I think I got that one. I gotta double check on the 75. Pretty sure that's done, but nope, not yet. It's the second before the last two. I got everything up to there. I know I got that one. 100%. I know I got that one. But yep. Now, final two over here. Well, I great ones get up here and no one have anything to prop on. Alrighty. Now, again, just to soothe my OCD, I'm going to go from one end to the other to make sure I did not miss anything. All on the same bolts. Then I'll drop down and do those 70s. So that's why I like to double check. You'll notice the air center one I started with originally, it moved a little bit after tightening everything else down. So I will probably get done here, go across the bottom and check it one more time, just because it was the very first bolt. And I want them all to be, obviously, as evenly torqued as we can get. Back to the center. Beautiful. Alright. Drop down to 70. And one last run through across the bottom, we'll call it good. Alright. We'll just stick a fork in that. Alright. Guys, hope you enjoyed it. I know some of you are probably like, that's the most boring shit ever. For those of you that kind of want to see some of this, I appreciate you watching. That's about all I'm going to do for today. I actually had kind of an issue with these Cometic head gaskets. Wasn't sure if I liked them. One hole was a little tricky to me, but it says that's what they're for, so we're going to roll with it. But I will come back tomorrow, maybe the next day, try to do the other head and start on some of the top end stuff, and hopefully get this thing buttoned up before long. I appreciate you guys for watching. Oh, and so by the way, I told you a few things earlier. It is a flat top motor, low compression. It would actually be 8.8 to 1 compression, but I ran a 27 thousandths head gasket, so it should be right at 9-to-1, which my idea behind it, I want to boost it. I really want to pro charge it, and at that compression, I can run. Could I make more compression if I'd have put baby domes, at least 22s, 26? Could I make more power and a little more compression? Of course, yes. But at 9-to-1 compression, I can run up to 10 pounds of boost and still be on 93 octane pump gas. And that's the ticket, to be able to ride around on boost and still run pump gas. So that was the general idea. For now, you know, due to budget, we're probably going to be on a nitrous kit. But it's going to be a good bit of nitrous, so we're probably going to start out at least 250. I'm really aiming at probably the 300 range progressively. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, like, subscribe if you want. Trying to get the street racing thing kind of jumped off down here. We test on the track a good bit too. But I'm really into the whole legit street racing thing. I know a lot of people down it, but we try to have common sense. But yep, give me a like and subscribe. Appreciate it. And y'all guys have a good one.